Head baseball coach Casey Klunder. His team goes out to Indianapolis, Indiana, and they open up against Marion on Friday at 5 Eastern. Coach, opening statement.
Appreciate everybody being here today. First of all, I just want to congratulate Coach Amsbury, the women's basketball team, on their championship last night. Bob's been a great mentor to me since I've been here, really taking me under his wing, and I really appreciate that. Second of all, I want to welcome Jason Split back to campus. Just hired on the football staff, played for us last year, and is now rejoining the Warburg family on the football staff. So congratulations to him. It's been awesome seeing him around the last couple weeks. We graduated 21 seniors from last year's team with 4th and 5th years, highlighted by 4 all-conference players that are out the door. Joey Sierra, Zach Walton, Elliot Jurgensen, and Carter Stubitz were mainstays in this program for a long, long time. So those 21 seniors will be missed. The only good thing about graduation, besides getting your degree, is that it creates opportunity for younger players. And so we're going to have some new players, some younger players step up this year and fill the giant void of 21 seniors. But dating back to September, the guys have just done a wonderful job. Since we returned to campus from summer break, they've approached everything with a positive attitude, great work ethic, and a growth mindset. It's been really fun. I'll speak for our whole staff when I say it's been fun to work with this group. The upperclassmen are doing a great job leading. The younger guys are doing a great job learning our ways, and it's been really fun here the last 8 months. I'll cherry pick a couple guys to start off with. We have 2 student managers, student coaches this year that are seniors that both had to medically retire, unfortunately, in the last couple of years. Noah Day was a really good player for us. My first year here, he was a sophomore, but unfortunately, elbow injuries caught up with him, and he can't play anymore. But he stayed with the program as a student coach on the position player side, and just done a great job for us this year. He's one of the funniest guys on the team. He's one of the most well-liked guys on the team, and so it's been really fun keeping him around. And he's had an impact on the position side. And Caleb Spooner from Waterloo East as a senior as well, had to medically retire with some shoulder injuries last year, but stayed with the program. Maybe the most popular guy on the team. And done a great job, and certainly had an impact on our pitchers in his student coaching role. So I really appreciate those 2 guys sticking around. It'd be easy to walk away, but those 2 guys have continued to give to the program, even though unfortunately they can't play anymore. I'll just kind of go around the diamond here and talk about each position group briefly. I'll start with the pitching. The starters are veteran, but the bullpen is going to be mostly new this year, which keeps the coach up at night. The weekend starters, Emerson Aberhasky, Kale Funk, and Nick Nan have all started a lot of games in their careers, and they'll be mainstays in the rotation here. And the bullpen, really the only full-time bullpen member coming back this year is Connor Funk. The rest of the bullpen graduated as a part of those 21 seniors that left. Zach Byrne pitched a little bit last year. In fact, I think 40% of his outings were in the conference tournament, so he came on really late for us, late in the season. Logan Sullivan's been a part-time starter, part-time in the bullpen. He looks to be in the bullpen this year as a veteran presence. And then Logan Wagmaster had Tommy John surgery over the summer, and he's come back quicker from that than anybody I've ever seen. And he'll probably appear maybe even early in the season, but hopefully at some point this year he'll be able to provide some depth to the young bullpen. We have a few newcomers in the mix there. Owen Grieco will make his debut sooner rather than later. He did a nice job on JV last year. Has taken the necessary jumps to be a varsity player this year. Cam Vols is a sophomore from Cedar Rapids Prairie that unfortunately tore his ACL last year. And so we projected him to be somewhat in the mix last year. He'll be in the mix this year now that he's fully healthy. Tucker Latterberg from Lopsy Valley will factor in early on this season, and he is exactly what you want out of a younger player. Last year he learned a lot about college baseball and made some growth. This year he's ready to compete for some innings. And then a freshman, Miles Mudd from Ballard High School, comes from a good high school program, same one as Owen Grieco, and he should be ready to help us out in the bullpen this year too. We have a senior Nicholas Chapman that pitched down the stretch for us quite a bit, and he's unfortunately hurt. I'm hoping it's not season ending, but it sounds like it may be. So unfortunately, he may not be able to help us in the bullpen this year. Catching wise, last year was our most veteran group. Last year at this time, we were really excited about having 4 senior catchers, which sounds weird during the COVID era. They were all different ages, but we had 4 senior catchers. They're all gone. As much as COVID kind of trickled into these rosters, it had a hard stop in NCAA baseball. And so we graduated 4 senior catchers. The returner is Garrett Turner, played for us quite a bit last year, and a couple of new players in the mix. Freshman Bodie Nagelmaker from Dubuque-Waller and Nolan Hurd from Osage will both factor in at some points this year. And I certainly want to mention Ryan Hillen. Ryan Hillen's a junior that battled through 2 different injuries, medical situations this year, and he may not be able to play this year, but certainly worth mentioning. He's one of the heartbeats of the team. The guys love him. He brings energy on a team that is full of a bunch of nice guys that sometimes can be too quiet. He's a vocal guy and really brings energy to practice and stuff, and so he'll be on the travel roster this year too. In the infield, Griffin Chirlha returns at third. Andrew Robinson returns at second. He was a part-time second baseman last year. He'll start the year as the full-time second baseman this year. And Liam Bender was a part-time player last year that seems to have taken over at shortstop here. And then Jack Bunkers is a senior that'll be kind of a super utility and fill in at all three of those spots as we go through the course of the season. He's a little nicked up here at the start, but expect him back sooner rather than later. Andrew Gallegos is a new player. He'll start at first base from Parkland Community College. Sometimes your best recruiters are players and former players. He had a connection to Carter Stubitz, one of our leaders from last year from Naperville, Illinois. He had a connection to him, and so that really got the process started. We're certainly happy to have him, Andrew, on our team this year. Garrett Kadolf, a senior from Western Dubuque High School, has been in and out of the lineup, pinch hit, DH, and he'll be in the mix at those positions again this year. Outfield's probably our deepest position group, our deepest room right now. We return a couple starters. Keegan Schmidt returns, and Jaden Scott returns. Others in the mix, Cole Greider and Charlie Kruger have both been part-time players that'll remain in the mix this year for playing time. We have a couple newcomers to add to that group. Dylan Stockdale from right here in Waverly via Southeastern Community College, and Tanner Jackson from Waukee Northwest will both factor in this year. Then we have a few seniors I want to mention there too. Aiden Tobin has started games for us in the past, but what a tremendous human being, and we're certainly happy to have him on the team. And he's been a great leader for that group, along with Drew Conrad's a senior from Farmington, Minnesota, has really improved over the past year. And big time strength and conditioning guy, strength and conditioning major, already has a job lined up for next year. Has been a nice leader for some of the younger players in that room as well. And then Brandon Cushion, West Central Maynard. He is a junior, but he's going to graduate in 3 years, and so he's in his final year of eligibility as well. The DH will probably go to one of those outfielders, or Garrett Kadolf, the backup first baseman. I'll quickly talk about the conference. Last year at this time, we sort of felt like we knew a lot of returning players from around the league with all the veteran players that were around the league. This year, who knows? Coast seems to have a great team, a lot back off a team that just barely missed the regionals last year as an at-large. And BV won our league, and they returned some really good arms. So that's probably a pretty good place to start for our conference. Our non-conference schedule shapes up like this weekend. We're on our way to Indianapolis and Grand Park, one of the nicest facilities in the country. And we'll play Marion, Heidelberg, and Ripon. And then we'll play the University of Iowa next Tuesday, which will be a fun experience, hopefully for our team and our fans as well. We play really good teams in Florida. Most of them had a winning record. Teams that seem to be about like us, so there'll be a lot of coin flip games. And our goal down there is to represent our conference, the American Rivers Conference, in a real positive way in the non-conference portion of the season here. Our home opener is March 15th with St. Olaf. St. Olaf's been really good in the MIAC the last probably 30 years, so it's always a fun series for us. They come to our place on March 15th, and then we play Platteville, who made the WIAC tournament last year. It's been a really good non-conference game for us since I've gotten here a couple years ago. So with that, I'll throw it out for questions.
Coach, what are some things you've been impressed with during the team's off-season in preparation for this season?
Yeah, just the character of our guys, the work ethic of our guys. They bring a positive attitude every day. We've been bouncing around. We've been blessed with some nice weather here. So we've been making some late changes on whether we want to go inside or outside. When we're inside, sometimes we have that 10 to midnight slot, or we bounce outside on short notice if the weather clears up for us. And the guys have just approached everything with a positive attitude. We've practiced a little bit on our field. We've practiced in the field house. We've practiced on the lacrosse field. Any time we can find a little patch of turf and some dry ground, we're going to go practice and get some throws in and some ground balls. And the guys have just approached everything with a real positive attitude. It's been a real fun group to work with. I enjoy coming to practice every day and seeing the guys and watching them do their thing.
With the large class of seniors leaving, like you mentioned, how have you seen some of your current upperclassmen kind of step up in leadership roles, both on the field and off?
Yeah, it's weird because the guys that are upperclassmen now were just underclassmen last year. When you graduate 2 whole classes, really our seniors went from being the 3rd oldest class overnight to the oldest class, and that's been a tough transition. And they've approached that the right way. Dating back to September, we started meeting with some seniors and kind of formed a senior group of leaders. And from the jump, they've just said, okay, this is where we've been, where we currently are, and where we want to go. And it's been fun to watch them take the reins on that. And it's been fun to watch them grow. Sometimes it's hard to grow if you don't have the opportunity to grow. And our guys have had it now with the graduating of 21 seniors. They've had the opportunity to grow and develop as leaders, as vocal leaders specifically, and taken more charge of those things. And I just think they've done a great job. And maybe one of the ways to test that is how our younger players, how quickly they've been integrated to our program is sometimes a reflection of them, certainly, but also a reflection of the upperclassmen and how well they've integrated the freshmen into the program. And judging by our freshmen and how fast they're learning, it tells me that the upperclassmen have done a wonderful job at setting standards, welcoming new players into the program, and showing them the ways that we want things done.
What are some areas of growth you'd like to see from this year's team compared to last year?
It's a good question. It's hard to remember a rally last year offensively that didn't include Stubitz, Andrews, Walton, Jurgensen, Armstrong. 5 prominent players for, I think the minimum they started was 4. Some of those guys started for 5. So it's hard to remember Wartburg baseball before BC, before COVID, before them. And so offensively, we'll need to pick up that slack. That's a ton of career bats. I thought about doing some math on that. I think it's funny when coaches do that. We only return X amount of production, and then I started doing the math, and I didn't like what I saw. It was going to keep me up, and I was going to lose any more hair than the few strands that I have left. So it'll be offensively. We'll need to have some guys step up. It's different. It's different batting second than it is batting ninth. And we lost a combination of everything, power and speed. And so, but I do think we have some good candidates to be able to do that. But that's one of certainly the things we're looking at early in the season here in Indianapolis and Florida on who's going to step up and provide some offense for the team.
Coach, you kind of just alluded to it there, but how important are those Florida games when it comes to filling in those new positions with newer faces?
What Florida does, it's almost like spring training in the major leagues, except for the count, is that allows you to play a lot of games in a short amount of time. And so you can mix and match different lineup combinations. I'm not sure we'll settle in until conference play, maybe St. Olaf. And we could continue after that. We played 2 second basemen in the conference tournament last year. We can continue to mix and match based on matchups, but I'm sure it'll narrow down as we go. But these first 11 games, if you count the University of Iowa and the 7 in Florida to go with the 3 this weekend, these first 11 games will be a chance, especially probably in the outfield, really mix and match. You know, we just named off a lot of outfielders there that are in the mix. And so we'll really need to get that sorted out here early in the season. But I'm excited about all of them. I'm excited about the work that they've done and how much improvement they've made since the fall, and the ones that are returning since last year. But that'll be what we have to sort out. And then obviously the bullpen just being new. We'll have to see who can step up there. And when you play, 7 games in, I think, 6 days this year in Florida, it'll give the chance to the bullpen to stretch thin and some guys to really get some innings and step up and see who's ready to compete in conference play when we return to Iowa.
Coach, going off of that, speaking of the conference tournament, you're selected 3rd, your highest since prior to the 2021 season. How does that kind of boost motivation or confidence in the locker room, especially after losing the big senior class?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think any coach is ever happy with the preseason poll. Either you feel disrespected because you're too low, or you're nervous because maybe it's too high. I'm not sure the math on losing 21 seniors and getting projected higher than we finished since 2018, maybe. But what I will say is that it's probably a representation of the underclassmen last year and the work that they've done and how much they've improved. Maybe that was noticed throughout the conference. But hopefully it does boost confidence. One of the things we haven't been since we've been here is the team that is consistently the aggressor. We've had some really nice wins over our 2 years here. We've also had some games get away from us. Part of that's the great game of baseball that we all know and love. But also, if you're going to really take the step up to be a first-round bye team in the conference tournament, one of the top 2, you don't get to take games off. You can't have duds in the middle of the conference season. And so if we can hopefully that gives us the confidence to be able to do that, to show that other people have sort of noticed the work we've done. If we can be more top of the food chain, as they say, and be the aggressor in all 3 games of the conference season, plus then show up and do it again on a midweek, that hopefully gives us the confidence to take that step in the right direction.
Coach, one of those seniors you mentioned last year was Joey Sierra. He's back this year on the staff. What kind of impact has he had so far?
He's had a tremendous impact. He's willing to do the little things to help us out. It's been fun to watch him transition from, one of the primary leaders on the team to a coach. And that can be a tough transition for a young man, coming off playing to then have to coach your former teammates. And he's just handled that. He had so much respect as a player. That certainly helps, that he handled everything the right way. Not only was he a good player, but he was a great leader. He handled his business the right way. He was obviously a veteran player in his 6th year last year, making that transition easier. But he's really had a nice impact on our team. He sees the game really well, especially in terms of the pitcher-batter matchup. He's going to be in Coach Dupik's ear a lot this year with tendencies and some things he sees. And as a pitcher, I think Joey would be the first to tell you, Joey didn't throw 90 miles an hour when he was here. Joey didn't light up the radar gun or have 1 million strikeouts. Joey worked the pitcher-batter matchup and found ways to continue to tip the scales in his favor. And that served him well as a coach and will serve our team really well as he's sitting by Coach Dupik calling pitches this year. Appreciate everybody coming. Thanks a lot.